Hi, I'm Hannah Wallace and welcome to FinextraTV Sibos, calling into our virtual studio to give us the Euro Banking Association's latest insights on two hot topics, request to pay and digital currencies, is Thomas Egner, Secretary General of the Euro Banking Association. So Thomas, welcome back. It's lovely to have you on again.
Thank you, Hannah. Great to be here again.
Really looking forward to touching base with you around Sibos and starting with request to pay. This remains centre stage of discussion, but we're still waiting for first product based on the pan-European scheme to hit the market. So do you think that predictions about its big potential have perhaps been a little exaggerated? What do you think?
No, Hannah, rather the contrary. I think the huge potential of request to pay is actually the reason for its slow takeoff. There are so many use cases where request to pay could make a big difference and so many pain points it could fix that it's really difficult for the industry to agree on priorities. And aside from that, it's also important to understand that request to pay can only become a real game changer if it's properly integrated in the end-to-end chain of a business transaction. And this requires the intervention of different suppliers aside from PSPs, including, for example, ERP system providers. I think that's certainly another aspect which is slowing down its implementation. But I'm hopeful that the introduction of request to pay will eventually lead to a payments reality where corporates can rely on a standardized digital messaging exchange with their customers, which they can use in several ways: to request payments from their customers, to provide them with invoices, or to follow up with them on unpaid bills. Today, some of this may still sound like science fiction for many corporate treasurers, but it's right around the corner if the industry takes the necessary steps.
Brilliant. Well, this all sounds really promising, Thomas. Thank you for that introduction. So tell us, what is the Euro Banking Association doing to support the journey to request to pay?
Well, as EBA, we're trying to increase awareness around the potential of request to pay and to foster dialogue between the supply and the demand side actors. So this summer, we published the results of our pan-European survey on corporate requirements. We presented the overall outcome at EBA Day in June, and now we're zooming into the findings we gathered on specific use cases. So don't miss out our first webcast on the topic of e-commerce, which is taking place on 20th of October. We will be joined there by corporate and bank representatives and look forward to the insights we get from them in this live dialogue. And I'm also sure that our speakers will echo some of the key recommendations that the European Central Bank has recently published on request to pay, namely that it can be a big booster for instant payments and that PSPs should start to develop request to pay solutions based on the EPC's pan-European scheme and obviously the related message standards. And I hope we will also get more insights on the additional ingredients that are needed to move from the request to pay scheme to actual customer products. I think that is one of the crucial areas where much more industry dialogue is needed and a lot more drilling down. And we're at the EBA very eager to support this deepening of the dialogue on request to pay. And as many of our members, we strongly believe it is an important tool that it will help the wider ecosystem to take digital payments and more specifically instant payments to the next level.
So clearly there is a lot of enthusiasm about request to pay at the EBA. Thank you for that, Thomas. So now let's hear about your views on digital currencies and more specifically central bank digital currencies and other stablecoins, which are also talk of the town. Tell us, what is the association doing in this area?
I certainly agree that stablecoins and CBDCs continue to be a very hot topic. However, unlike request to pay, which leverages a lot of existing building blocks, the CBDC topic leads us into uncharted territory. There's consensus that a lot of questions need to be answered before a CBDC, like the digital euro, can be introduced. And this is fully recognized by the European authorities, as reflected in the public consultation on the digital euro completed in January this year. And it also shows in the setup of the Digital Euro Market Advisory Group by the ECB, which will be launched this month and accompany the investigation phase running until 2023. At EBA level, we have been zooming in on this topic through our crypto and stablecoins working group. This group is currently working on its second report, which will further explore the needs, the challenges, and the opportunities around the topic. And we do sense a big interest among market actors to understand which roles they could play in this context. And at this point in time, it remains difficult for our member to assess the impact, the full impact of a digital euro in particular. But this makes it more important to exchange views on different scenarios and also to capture relevant open questions.
Thank you, Thomas. This sounds like a really valuable initiative to complement the efforts of the ECB Advisory Group and others. And now, as we come to the end of our interview then, perhaps you could give us some closing remarks on the general state of play in European payments. What about that?
Yes, certainly, Hannah. And as we all know, they are very busy times in payments. Many of us are still feeling some impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think it's also fair to say that this impact has hit cross-functional delivery projects and collaborative industry initiatives more than other areas. And against this background, I really believe that it's very important that as an industry, we prioritize wisely. So from an EBA perspective, this means that market players should put a strong focus on coordinating their activities around the collective deliverables that are needed to foster pan-European adoption of instant payments and request to pay.
Well, Thomas, thank you so much for calling in and sharing your insights. Some really exciting developments there to look back on as well when we speak further down the line, inevitably. So thank you very much for calling in and have a brilliant Sibos.
Super. Thank you, Hannah.